There's something depressing about doing the same thing every day and still feeling like nothing's changed. But I kept showing up, and somehow that became the lesson. There's a strange kind of pain in routine. When you do everything right, you show up, you put in the work, and still nothing changes. I've gone to gym almost every weekday for the last 2 years. No new gains, no big progress. I've applied to over hundreds of jobs. Nothing. Talked to countless people hoping for something real. Still alone. Maybe your version is different. Maybe it's showing up to a job you hate, or waking up next to someone who doesn't really see you. Maybe it's scrolling endlessly because feeling numb is easier than feeling disappointed. Whatever it is, we all know what it's like feeling to wonder, why am I even doing this? At some point, you stop chasing change and start questioning yourself. Is this what life is supposed to feel like? I kept showing up, not out of motivation, but out of refusal. Refusal to give up on myself. Refusal to believe that effort means nothing. And in that stillness, when nothing was moving on the outside, something inside began to shift. That's where I started to see myself in Thorfinn. They told us a simple formula when growing up. Go to school, get good grades, get a degree, and life would reward us. We didn't question it, because why would we? It came from parents, teachers, relatives, the system, people we trusted. We were promised security, fulfillment, and maybe even happiness. But here I am, years after graduating, still jobless, still uncertain, still chasing stability that never seems to come. And here's the worst part. I did everything I was supposed to do, and it still wasn't enough. There's a quiet kind of heartbreak that comes from doing the right thing and being left with nothing to show for it. It's not dramatic, it doesn't make a good story, but it lingers. It eats away at your confidence, your identity, your sense of direction. You start to question everything. Was it me? Was I just not good enough? Or was the promise itself a lie? And then you see Thorfinn, a boy raised with a single mission: revenge. He trained for it, suffered for it, sacrificed everything for it. And when the moment finally came, when he stood face to face with the man he swore to kill, it meant nothing. Because the person he became wasn't a person he thought he'd be. And that's when it hit me. Maybe the reason I'm not where I want to be isn't because I failed. It's because I was chasing something that was never mine to begin with. Maybe the promise was never meant to deliver peace, but it was just a story, one we outgrow. But growth is painful, because it means letting go of who you thought you'd be, to finally become who you actually are. Thorfinn didn't just lose a mission, he lost his identity. For years, he lived only to kill Askeladd. The single focus gave him structure, even purpose. And when the target was lost, he was left with a question no one prepares you for. Who am I now? He fell into apathy, depression, a hollow existence, until something small brought him back. Not a grand vision, but a simple act of working the land. Farming. From swinging a sword to pushing a plow, he started to rebuild himself, piece by piece. And he didn't do it because he found a new dream. He did it because he had nothing else, and showing up was all he could control. That's the real fight. Not the battle with enemies, but the quiet, daily choice to live with intention. To stay soft in a hard world. To seek peace even when you don't feel like you deserve it. Thorfinn's arc isn't about vengeance or redemption. It's about persistence. The bravery to keep showing up for a life that no longer looks like what you imagined. I hit 25 and realized I only get one life, and I'd been spending it chasing things I didn't even want. Recognition, validation, a job that sounded good, a relationship that looked right. I thought peace would come if I just achieved more. But the more I chased, the more I lost myself. Maybe you felt that too. Doing everything you're supposed to do and still feel empty. Wanting to be okay, but not knowing what that even means anymore. Inner work is strange. It doesn't look like anything. There's no trophy, no spotlight, just you, doing the same small things every day. But here's what I learned, and maybe it will help. Create a structure, even if you feel your days are meaningless. A walk, a journal entry, a task list, just one anchor. Track your habits, not your outcomes. Progress is still invisible until it stacks. Limit your inputs. Too much noise kills clarity. Create what you watch and who you listen to. Let go of timelines. You're not late, you're just early to something different. Don't wait to be motivated. Be consistent when it's boring. That's when it starts to count. Over time, your silence becomes more comforting than your distractions. Your discipline becomes more stable than your mood. Your presence becomes louder than your pain. Change is slow, but it's real. And it starts when you stop fighting the way things are and start choosing how you show up. Thorfinn never got the ending he wanted. He got the peace he didn't know he needed. He showed up broken. He built something whole. Not because life rewarded him, but because he refused to be ruled by the past. You won't always feel better tomorrow, but you can still show up today. And maybe that's what healing is. Not the absence of pain, but the presence of intention. Peace isn't something you find, it's something you build. One step, one choice, one quiet act at a time. So ask yourself, what are you still showing up for? And what could you build if you kept on going? And thank you for listening. A new style of content today or want to try moving forward. Let me know what you thought about it. Did this hit different? Give me a like, comment if you want this kind of content to continue. But I appreciate you all listening. Thank you again, and all the best. As always, like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, ciao.